Michael, welcome back to the conversation series. Thank you for being with us. Let's dive into your article on vision casting for the new year. You tell the story of John and how he lost track of his identity and his purpose, and you mapped out how he rediscovered that and what the fruit it led to. So tell me a little bit about why you think so many leaders lose touch with their identity, who they are, over time, because they're so focused on driving performance or certain metrics.
We live, as human beings, we live 95% of our lives in subconscious habit. It's very easy to get lost in the shuffle as you're climbing in your career, especially when you get a new position. And I think the major thing that causes us to lose our purpose is living to the expectations of others. One of the best books I've ever read is a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And she said, the top regret of the dying is I did not live a life true to who I knew I should be. I instead lived my life based on the expectations of others. And I think what happens, we get into a position and then instead of continuing to focus on improving our ability, we try to prove our ability. So we're trying to prove ourselves to others, and that's an endless well. You can never prove yourself enough to anyone, just like money. You can never make enough money to where money itself will satisfy you. And that is where, if we lose who we are inside of that shuffle, we can begin to get burned out, we can get frustrated, angry, lost.
Share that again, in a nutshell, how that shift is where people start to lose a sense of who they are and why they're showing up to work, doing what they do every day.
Yeah, well, if you think about it like this, if you are trying to live to the expectations of others, that is an unknown. It's an uncertainty because you don't truly know what other people expect of you. You do know results that maybe are expected, but if you have that as your focus every day, you're in speculation. So every day is about proving yourself to others that you have what it takes, that you can get the job done, instead of living for your own personal purpose or fulfillment. That is, I know that I am meant to live a greater call, a greater purpose to improve the quality of life for other human beings. And there's a specific way everybody does that. So if my focus is proving myself to others, again, I'm going to be chasing my tail nonstop because today I'm trying to prove myself to Vincent. The next, I'm trying to prove myself to Jane. And then I'm trying to prove myself to Jimmy. And no matter what, I'm trying to prove that I have what it takes. Well, Jimmy, Jane, and Vincent aren't really thinking about me that much. And not even an iota of what I think about myself. And so the most important thing is that we are trying to improve our ability so that we can fulfill a purpose and we can be fulfilled and have an impact as leaders.
Now, when someone's trying to get back in touch with who they are, what are just a couple brief questions, prompts they can respond to?
The main question is reminding ourselves of who we are. I don't know that we ever truly lose who we are. It's sort of reminding ourselves of who we are. Well, what are your gifts? And gifts have to do with natural strengths and natural abilities. Those are things given to you when you were born. Some people are excellent at making friends, for example. Some people are great problem solvers. Some people are excellent communicators from the time they're kids all the way growing up. And there's just a gift given to them. So being very clear about what are my natural strengths? What are those gifts? And then the second question is, what are my talents? What are the things I've developed competencies in? And then third is, what am I really, really passionate about? What are my special abilities that, yeah, it has to do with my gifts and my talents, but these special abilities are usually things that we have a great passion for. And we develop special abilities because we put time into this talent or this gift, and it doesn't feel like we're putting time into it. We just enjoy it. We love it. It makes us very passionate. And then again, the question of why does it matter? If I utilize my gifts, my talents, my special abilities, how does it impact the world? How does it impact my life? How does it create a way for me to make more of a difference for myself and others?
And we, when walking a client and coaching through that, we also like to share our belief as to what the greatest purpose of humankind is, which is to add value or improve the lives of other humans. And when we share that, I feel like a flip goes off or a switch in the person's mind, because then that kind of fifth element after those four prompts, I think helps them to start to put it in what we would call a purpose statement.
Yeah.
Where you essentially answer, why are you on this earth? What are you doing to improve the lives of other people?
And that goes back to the idea we live 95% of our lives in subconscious habit. It's not something you change. That's something you work with. And that is why having a purpose statement, which is about intention. Intentionality is living from a purpose, and then vision is living with a purpose. So it's all based in purpose, but being intentional with our actions, and then we don't become haphazard, because it is really easy to put our purpose or build our purpose, quote unquote, around the expectations of others. It's a really easy thing. The demands of others cause contrast, they cause stress, they cause feelings of self-judgment, of shame, of guilt. And so we want to alleviate those pressures. So it's easy to fall into the trap of trying to live up to the expectations of others, which are really low when it's all said and done.
Yeah. So when a person redefines or gets back in touch with their purpose, how does that help them make better decisions with their time, their talent, their treasures related to vision?
It's about intentionality. So we have a brain filtration system called the reticular activating system, or the RAS. When we put a purpose statement and we put a vision out in front of us where we can see it every day, and then we add systematic disciplines to ensure that we're going to fulfill our purpose and our vision. We put it in a place where we see it every day. You want to print out your vision and put them in a place where you can see them every day. So I do this. I have it right next to my lamp, right next to my bed. So every day I turn on that lamp, and there's my vision right in front of me. So you turn your light on to your vision every day. And what that does is it helps you, your reticular activating system, be awake to opportunities to then live that out.
And when you think about an aspiring vision that could lead yourself or others, and it's rooted in or from purpose, we have an activity that we're going to link in the description, SMART goal mapping. We're not going to talk too much about it now. We'll also link our leadership action step video, which will talk a little bit about how to go through that activity. But that starts to get towards discipline and accountability, kind of like the last few steps of not only creating a vision, but starting to map out how you're going to execute on that vision. Can you share 3 specific examples of habits or practices that you feel like have been transformative in the lives of yourself or your clients?
Well, I would say the first one is writing everything down where you can see it. I think that is not just relevant for a year. I know people do that at the beginning of every year, and that's fantastic, but that needs to be done daily. The second thing I would say is you have to have accountability. You really have to have accountability. I mean, the chances of you fulfilling a goal or a vision or fulfilling a purpose goes up exponentially when you have accountability. And I'm talking the difference between a person who sets a goal and does not have accountability is about 8% likely to get it done versus a person with accountability, and I mean consistent, every 2 weeks is the minimum. But being able to check in with somebody who cares about you and who you care about, who's going to hold you accountable and say, hey, Vincent, hey, Michael, you're not doing what you said you're going to do. Let's get that done. And you care enough to say, okay, I'm going to get it done because next time around, I want to tell Vincent I got it done. You're 88% likely to fulfill a purpose, vision, and disciplines when you have accountability.
Wow.
We always say this.
Yeah.
You've heard this, is leaders don't want to be held accountable. Leaders are accountable.
Yeah.
Be accountable. Don't be held accountable. Be accountable. And then the third one is you have to continually look for opportunities to proactively grow. Reading, listening to inspiring and enlightening material. And why? Why do you have to do that? Well, it's because the world is negative. I mean, our minds are built for survival. 80% of our thought life is negative. You don't fight that. You work with it. And the reason why your mind is so negative is because it cares about you. It wants you to survive. It's constantly looking out for what's wrong to protect you, not looking out for ways that you can fulfill your purpose and vision. So you have to continually feed your mind things that are going to encourage you, inspire you to fulfill your purpose and vision. So a lot of the stuff we talk about is about encouraging leaders to continue on, to have the courage. Encouragement means simply to put courage in. So we want to put courage into leaders because it's difficult to fight through all the noise that we get, not only in our own heads, but from the world around us. So those three things are what I would recommend.
And my last question you already answered, at least in part, and I want you to add maybe one more, is what are some of the obstacles that stand in the way of leaders living intentionally? You all already said a potentially negative mind that isn't seen in a healthy way, that runs wild, could stop someone from making progress in these areas. What's the biggest obstacle that people face living intentionally?
Our environment, more than our DNA, affects who and what we become. Now, one thing that is very, very clear is if you change the environment you're in, let's say the top 5 friends you have are typically negative, they don't have great disciplines, don't have great habits, maybe they're naysayers when it comes to developing leadership disciplines or becoming a great success, and you remove yourself from those 5 people, and you would replace them with 5 people who are positive, who are about positive change, and who are about helping you become the best you can be, you will see an unequivocal difference in the next year of your life. So you must create an environment for yourself that is conducive to change. Just like a tree, a redwood tree, for example. Why do they grow so tall and so large and so robust? It's because the environment itself and the soil and the ecosphere is set up for them to grow very, very large. And the same is true with humans. We must create an environment for ourselves that is conducive to the growth that we want.
It's a great segue to point people back to overcoming toxicity. So I'm going to look at every camera. Go watch the conversation about overcoming toxicity. Go watch our Leadership Action video. Go on our website and make sure you read that article that Michael wrote. Thank you so much and have a great year. Thanks for the time.
Coming in spring 2025, we're launching the High Performance Membership Site, a game-changing platform with exclusive tools, resources, and connections to help you lead with impact. I'd also like to share my new book, The Leadership Edge. I wrote this book to help those in leadership positions, as well as those who are aspiring to be leaders, help others and yourself develop into a leader that will always have the leadership edge. If you'd like more information on where to purchase your copy, or if you'd like to purchase bulk copies, please reach out to us at highperformancehbk.com.